So they'll be calling you a radical. This is an important video for the normalcy freak bias and how they... I guess nobody's got a memory. Nobody's got a memory. Lord, I remember. So no one has a memory. So this is important. I started screaming about this lake going dry in 2012. The Great Salt Lake. Fukushima's got a cause. Now, stay with me, because KSL and the penny painter pieces of shit report been going on for decades. New York Times says 175. Oh, fuck, shut up. So you see this shirt. I survived the blizzard of 2010, the flood of 2011, right here in Ogden. So our family owns a bunch of property right there on the river there. Oh, it flooded. The river on the other side. They spent millions and millions, the state of Utah, to put locks on the river on the lower Weber here. It snowed so much in 2010. In 2010, that's all I did all year. I mean, in New York and in Utah, I shoveled roofs. So I was shoveling with the monks at the monastery up in Huntsville. Me and Bob went over there and helped them for free. It collapsed one of those buildings. So here's Bob and I and all these phony fake fuckers around here. You know, that's when I was, right before I got cancer. The monk we were shoveling with was 92. And we were shoveling roofs up in the valley and down here. We'd shovel so much snow that you could walk right off, two-story houses, walk off the roof. No ladder, no nothing. Once you got that's how much snow was it. It snowed and it snowed and snowed. There's some videos of mine out there in 2010. I skied at Basin, just to say we did, in 100-degree weather on the 4th of July. Yeah. So when they say you're going out for years, so the lake, of course, and of course the lake was up already. It was at normal levels. I get cancer 2011, as you know. I go into the bone marrow transplant. I kept saying, I got to get my videos at the jetty. Got to get my videos at the jetty. Got to get my videos at the jetty. That was my intuitive mind. Thank God I did. Because I've been showing the videos in 2012. Oh, yeah, really? Really been going on? Here. I had a professor at Weber State, you know, telling me this has been going dry for years. You know, an old colleague of mine, who's a piece of shit. I says, oh, yeah, here, look at this. When's that? October 4th, 2012. Oh, my God, you proved me wrong. I says, yeah. Quit going along with the fucking narrative they just throw at you. It's like the salmon. Salmon class been going for years, dams. No, it's not. No, it's not. Record returns in 2010, these years. Record returns, Steelhead. The Steelhead collapse is such a catastrophe right now in the Columbia. The Columbia is the biggest of them all. Tim just shot some videos at the Marine Biology Center. He just now is trying to send it to me. Nobody there. They admitted at the Biology Center. It took them years, you know, Tim and I working this, and that they finally admitted all these years later that they're dying at sea. We all live in a greenwashing machine. A greenwashing. The normalcy bias. So in science, we don't do that, right? You young biologists. Now, this is important for young biologists, young scientists, young whatevers. Get the fuck away from those professors in academia. Academia is captured. It's gone. Weber State University's School of Business was the #1 in the country via the testing when I graduated. I graduated in the second time. I graduated the first time in 1978 with a BIS in biology, finance, and fine art. I was only 18. I was one of those. I don't believe in early college, by the way. Do not believe in it. I like the old health classes and everything they used to make you take. That's what I learned the most. That's back when we had fantastic professors and we were, I mean, what a school. 96, Dr. Cooley's program. I graduated in it. The highest exit tests, there's only 17 of us, BAs, including the heir to the Japanese royal family, Mikado. It's right here. It's right here. Let me show you this. That's the highest score ever given on Dr. Cooley's fucking toughest test right there. That's a letter of recommendation from Dr. Cooley. My French professor, Dr. Godfrey. Est-ce que vous parlez français? No! My confidential letter. There's a picture of Mikado right there with me somewhere. Of course, my plastering career. We all live in a green washing machine. A green washing machine. A green washing machine. God, that's what Kevin Blanch used to look like. Ooh. I've got 16 in that photo. Important word. So, when you first think that something's happened, like, okay, COVID. I think that maybe COVID came from that nuclear meltdown in China. Don't be afraid to put it out there. I mean, of course, Google and these fuckers are going to take you down for just hypothesizing. When Fukushima happened, I knew. I mean, my hypothesis went right out there immediately. They're lying. How did I know this? Because I had written paper after paper after paper for years and years on Mach 1, Mach 2 reactors that Utah Construction, Weber State University built, including Fukushima, which is GE now. Utah Construction is now GE. I knew they could not withstand anything over a 7.5. They might get lucky on a 7.6, 7.7. 9? No way. This thing was gone. Those cores were fractured, and once the core is fractured, it loses coolant. And then the cores melt together. They make the zirconium rods right behind me. And when people start talking about, oh, it's just some rods in China that got hot, that's a meltdown by definition. They lost coolant. That's a meltdown by definition, and you can't get it out. Never can you get it out. You can't get it out. How do you get it out? 780,000 men in Chernobyl entombed. That one blew up. Fukushima's multiple cores. What was Barry Antoinette and gang and Trump's gang? Hear no nuclear evil because they run the world. If you haven't learned in this 10 years, the nuclear, I mean, look at these YouTube sites. Anybody who's talking the greatest catastrophe in human history, Kevin Blanch, Durnford. Look at people say, oh, it's a hoax. I'm Dutch sense. It's a hoax. I'll tell you what's a hoax. Dutch sense is a fucking hoax. Colbert. There's a fucking hoax. You know, I'll tell you about the lie that fucker made up on me and slandered the fucker. I should sue that fucker. One day I'm going to sue Google. He showed up the Million Mass March, which I invented, which is on the backs of the Fukushima disaster and the death of Danielle Willard and Matthew Stewart right here in Ogden, Utah. Matthew Stewart in January 5th in 2012. The no-knock warrant. Got people killed, including a cop, shot a cop. Watch the document, Peace Officer. Then he was hung in a jail cell, Matthew, for a marijuana plant. Then Danielle Willard, her head's blown off for no reason, in a parking lot, just in her car. Absolutely no reason, nothing. That's how it was started, and the Fukushima disaster. Colbert says he shows up and he says that I got into it and went crazy and assaulted him, blah, blah. Well, verbally, I says, you're a fucking liar. I never even talked to you there. So then he says, well, it was a girl you know. A girl I know. Who? He rattled off who this girl, I don't even know who she is. I says, this is the quantum leap. This is the lies that they spread, and their fucking sites get propped up. I don't believe in violence. I've never assaulted anybody in my life. Oh, they've assaulted me. It took years of living. I don't believe in violence. They do! I've had guns in my face twice. Mike Lee kicked me off Medicaid. Why I'm in the bone marrow transplant on 11/11. Go talk to my doctor. I mean, just go up and have a conversation with Vincent Hansen. Go talk to him. He'll tell you Kevin Blanch is the biggest miracle. He should never survive this disease. Think about the timing of the cancer. So the salmon. Record returns in 2010, 2011. The lake so I'm in the bone marrow transplant center. I'm dying. I'm dying. I mean, I'm going to a coma on January 30th, 2012. You know, the girls are up. The nurses, I mean, I think everybody thought I died that day. I woke up. And both the nurses, you know, they were there. They're both crying. I'm like, oh my God. You were out. You redlined. I says, again? No, this time for a long time. I says, I'm okay. I've had an angel with me the whole time. A little native girl that has been with me since I was a little boy. I met her right where the D Event Center is built now. I think it's so irony because Damian Lillard's going to play in the gold medal game. Where's your Lillard shirt? I found me another really cool Lillard shirt. Where is that? Oh, for Ogden, Damian. Damien and I are on the campus at the same time. I'm doing the play-by-play. Oh, for Oregon. Whole new meaning, right? Oh, for Oregon. Whole new meaning, right? Oh, for Ogden, Oregon, Oakland. Whole new meaning, right? Do all this work. He's in a couple of videos. You can see him walk by, but I'm in the ball. I came out, and me and the nurses went to the Bracket Buster game. He Damien's best game. I didn't do the play-by-play that day. I was definitely sick. You know, we had masks on and all covered up, and there's a video, I think, out there. I mean, that was in the days you didn't just shoot a video and click it on your phone. He was ahead by 22 points at halftime in the Big Sky Championship game. I did the play-by-play on that game in 2010 to the second. This is important because this is going up. It's Hiroshima Day today. Yeah, it was the 5th here. 76 years. I go out there every year. I'm trying to rent a car. I can't find a fucking car for rent. I don't know how I'm going to get out there. So Jim's expecting me. I got to sit in Tippett's chair on the dinner. HNK, them pieces of shit. No Utah media goes, I got to hold one of the paper cranes in my hand. Sudoku, folding paper cranes, his own niece herself. This is for you, Kevin Blanch. She awarded me my piece made from recycled paper cranes at the Peace Vigil in Hiroshima, Nagasaki. It's ironic because the Olympics are going right now. I got to hold it in my hand. This is for you. I was so famous in Japan, you know, and she started to cry. Thank you. There's pictures out there, videos. No Weber State professors, no University of Utah professors, no BYU professors. They're fraud. So you young academians, this is important. You hypothesize the knowledge. Put your work online. Just hypothesize the knowledge. You have to do the field work. You have to do at least 4.5 years of field work. 5. I've done 10. Then you have to defend your work. Kevin Blanch's hypothesis, March 2011. They're full-blown out meltdowns. They're going to lie. They're going to lie. They're going to propaganda machine all over the world. They run the world. They got their fingers on Price Anderson. They're going to lie. They're going to lie. These are full-blown out meltdowns. They're going to burrow into the fucking earth. They're going to boil the Pacific Ocean. They're going to break the fucking chain. They're going to break the photoplankton fucking chain. The tide pools will wipe out fucking immediately. Fucking the salmon will collapse. The stillhead on cue. Chinook will collapse in 2016. They go to sea for 5 years. Smoking gun of Fukushima is the salmon region. Record returns. Record returns on Chinook salmon. We don't count dead humans in bone marrow transplants. Kevin Blanch does. We don't count dead fucking tide pools. Kevin Blanch does. We count every fucking salmon. The data's there now. It's unarguable now. It's unarguable. Because the stillhead collapsed. The stillhead right now today have 16,000 for the year in the Columbia. Fucking in 2010 they had 820,000. 820,000, 16,000, and they're gill netting. Where's Greenpeace? Where's Sierra Club? Where's Friends of the Earth? In violation of Endangered Species Act 3 fucking thing. These, we all live in a greenwashing. So they're fake, phony fucking money-raising apparatuses. They told me to themselves, Fukushima scatters our investors. Tail wagging dog. So then you defend your work. You put it out. Doesn't matter if it gets 3 views. Doesn't matter. That's what a great research PhD is. You do your work. You put it in the fucking research library. That's it. That's it. So there's a young woman who's won a gold medal in fucking rowing in Seattle. I'm very proud of her. Very proud of her. But she got cancer post-Fukushima in Seattle. This is important because cancer went crazy in Seattle. Still is going crazy. Really crazy. There's a famous oncologist who was ranting and raving about Fukushima in 2012. When I had cancer, I was following her along. A young female oncologist. She got breast cancer, real radical. She did a big statement and says, these cancers post-Fukushima are fucking more intense, they're more radical, they're more acute, quick, and it killed her. There's so many people that have died. And this young woman, I'm so proud of her, but she got cancer a few years ago. And she's come back and won a gold medal. Now, Rikaki Iki, we know she was supposed to be the superstar of these Japanese games. You know, just the fact that they put him over there is outrageous. She was written off. She has a really radical acute leukemia. They covered it up. She should have won. She won 6 gold medals in the Asian Games. She's the greatest female athlete in the history of Japan. Probably the greatest athlete. She survived. I mean, a miracle. She's alive. She got in the pool in a relay. She went 5th, and I'm proud of her. I really am proud. But you need you athletes that have survived and done this, especially this one, who won our gold medal. I'm really proud of you. It's pretty amazing what you've done. And you went to Japan, and I get it. I wouldn't have. I said boycott it, but that's your personal choice. You know, and you did it. But you need to stand up for everybody, all the athletes. You know how many athletes, young athletes, who were training for the games in Japan have died? I can rattle them off, especially Asian athletes, swimmers. There's been like 20 of them die of cancer in the last few years. All cancer post Fukushima. They're dying at sea. They're dying at sea. This is the greatest PhD in human history. You can deny it, but it's there, right? It's there. It's in the library. And that's it. That's how it works. I mean, I remember when I was a young postgraduate student and I'm doing my work and, applying for my fellowships, applying everything. You're standing up the nuclear industry. You know all the money on this campus. The great Dr. Clyde Cooley, who died of mad cow when they burned Staircycle, mad cow in Bountiful. Promised they'd live in AT. He lived there. This is the last letter of recommendation the greatest finance professor in the world wrote. Right there. Dr. Clyde Cooley. There it is. The highest score he ever gave on his toughest test on the campus. There it is. Bachelor of Arts. Back then they required you to learn French. Est-ce que vous parlez français? No. You must focus. We got a mad cow in 99 right as we got our MBA. Warren Buffett come in and Bill Childs wanted to turn it into supply chain from China. And we all said, fuck you. Everybody resigned. Everybody quit. I was an adjunct. I was a student professor. I saved their program because Clyde Cooley got the MBA program. They promised me the first MBA. They promised me money. They promised me all this stuff. They just fucked me. They took it over. China has taken over that school. They tested like 512 out of 520 from number one. The year I graduated in 96, the highest exit testing of any undergraduate program in the history of the United States in finance and economics. I used to tell Dr. Cooley, they obviously threw my test score out. Damien went to that school a little at the same time I was there. He a success story? Oh, you think? You think? Well, I supported him heavily. I really supported him. He doesn't support me. That's okay. That's okay, because I'll see him. He's going to do his alumni tournament. This is important because I did the play on his alumni tournament in 2019. That angel came to me at that stadium. Up by 22 points at halftime at the Big Sky Championship game in 2010, March 10th that evening, 1 year to the second of the Fukushima disaster. Guy named Anthony Johnson from Montana. I was sitting with some Montana guys. We're doing the other play-by-play. They were sitting some fans. They left at halftime. We were lost. Anthony Johnson never missed a free throw or a field goal. He said after the game, he was interviewed years later, you never did this before, after, or during. He says, I had an out-of-body experience. Damien has a boy-girl twin now. I'm a boy-girl twin. They're very special people, by the way. Very sacred and hallowed place where the D Event Center is. The nuclear industry merged in 1975. That's the house they built. What a stop dragging my heart around. I saw Stevie Nicks in there fucking snorting cocaine because it's round. What a sacred, hallowed journey it's been. The salmon of collapse. This is the greatest PhD in human history. We go from floods and... So I'm in the bone marrow trying... I says, if I come out, what little bit of hair I have... of course I lost my hair. I'm going to dye my hair blue in honor of the mighty blue lady. So I go out to Antelope Island. There's videos of me. I got a little bit of hair and I dyed it blue. That was the same day that the same day that Nora died of AML leukemia. Who's she? The producer who took so much risk, who made Silkwood. Where's Meryl Streep making that statement? You can see the lake is way up above normal levels. That's 2012. The spring of 2012. Videos all over out there. She died of AML leukemia that day. She got it the exact same time. You think that's significant? They make the zirconium rods, their sister, Karen Silkwood plant right behind my house. What's the zirconium? Oh, they play dirty. Karen Silkwood, where is Meryl Streep? on this? Where is she on this? She died of amyloid leukemia. She made Silkwood. She took a lot of fucking risks. She took a lot of shit, which is a masterpiece movie. We have no Jerry Spence. He represented the Silkwood family. They murdered her. They're murdering you, the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate. The salmon collapse is epic. So as young scientists, what do? Old scientists. We take the bias out. Once we have the data, which I hypothesize, I proved the data, we have the salmon numbers now. We go from 820,000 returning Chinook salmon to 16,000 in 10 years. That started in 2010. Now remember, steelhead go to sea 1 to 2 years. Short life cycle. I took a lot of shit. Oh, I saw it with my own eyes. Record returns 2013, 14. I know. Of course you're going to see record returns. The restoration of the beds, the restoration of the hatcheries, one of the greatest success stories in environmental history. The escapement levels went way up. We fixed all that. But when they die at sea, what does it matter? You can blow up all the dams you want. They'll collapse in 2016. They go to sea for on average of 5. Oh, you're crazy. Will you believe me when that happens? They've crashed well over 95%, the Chinook. The strongest beast of them all. The strongest fish species of them all, dying at sea. Dying at sea. Not warm water, not hatcheries, not dams. The mighty Blue Lady. You think that's a big fucking story? The greatest PhD in human history. I took so much shit and slandered and attacked. It's unbelievable. The Great Pacific Genocide. Kevin D. Blanch. The Bob Hayes of fucking the Olympics. The Bob Hayes. By the way, if Bob Hayes, 1964, the only person to ever win a Super Bowl and a gold medal. If he had the same shoes they run with today and the same track, he would still hold the world's record. Bob Beeman Blanch. By the way, people talk about Tommy Smith, and I've talked personally to Tommy Smith. I'm a big fan of his, always was. You know, the Australian silver medalist who stood there, Mr. Norman, he gets no credit. He supported him. He took more risks than even they did. The Queen was going to kill him. Maybe did. He wore his medal in support of Tommy Smith and the movement. Kevin Blanch. You start talking Bob Hayes and Olympics, or Jim Thorpe. People don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. It's the greatest fucking PhD in human history. Go, Mr. Lillard. I hope you get your gold medal, brother. I hope you get it. I hope you get it. I hope you get it. I mean, never got to play an NCAA tournament. I hope you get it, brother. But remember, you're from Ogden, Oregon, Oakland. So am I. So am I. The Grace Ecologica task, we both did our work on the campus at the exact same time. The alumni game 2 years ago, my car broke down. I walked. Never forget this name. Trevon Smith. Trevon Smith. Beat to death in a jail cell. That year. On 4th of July. So on the campus, same time as Damian Lillard, all-time leading rusher. White boy from Utah. Had a stroke and a heart attack a few years after he played football. I'd still do the play-by-play for football. I love those guys. By the way, they will beat the University of Utah in fucking week 1. They're going to win it this year. We're going to break that watch because I love those guys. Randall Johnson with that fucking pass way up and fucking down. The greatest Hail Mary ever thrown. That's my video. For the YouTube video is mightier than the sword. Beat to death in a jail cell. He had a stroke and heart attack. Became homeless. They picked him up for something stupid. And beat him. Where was the NCAA then? Where was the NCAA then, Damian? For every fucking Damian Lillard, there are thousands of Trevon Smith. Weber State's a bunch of racist, anti-woman fuckheads. Ask Watt, the first player of color in the history of the NBA, 2 national championships at Weber State, born and raised in Ogden, Utah. Watt. Won't mention his fucking name on that campus. How about Fawn McKay Brody, the greatest historian, greatest female writer, greatest fucking female artist in the history of the United States. The greatest historian in the history of the United States, female. Thank you, Ken Burns, yesterday, by the way. They won't mention her fucking name. Yeah, she's from here. Went to the same high school as me, same college as me, the same path. Long video. They're dying to see. This is just the greatest PhD in human history. Stay away from academia. Do it on your own. Find your own fucking... Thank you to everybody that supported this historic fucking... If I didn't do this, can you imagine? They would have got away with it. The nuclear energy crime scene, and everybody went along and supported scientists. Are mystified, they're baffled, they're puzzled, and everybody that went along with it. Whoa. You are branded in history for time and all eternity. This young generation will see, I see. Grandma, weren't you a marine biologist in 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20? Yes. I'm retired now, honey. Well, we learned at school today that the marine biologists, the scientific community, and the media, and the imperialist media, the Bezos, the Zuckers, the creeps, all covered up Fukushima. And it was the greatest ecological catastrophe, still is, and wiped out our ocean and killed millions and millions of people with cancer. It's the biggest cover-up and the greatest crime in human history. Oh, honey, that's so horrible. Yes. Grandma, weren't you a academician? Weren't you a science professor? Weren't you a history professor? Weren't you a marine biologist then? And you didn't say anything? Stay in tune.